Hello, fellow warriors against consensus reality. It's been a little while. It's a nice, quiet, still dark morning. No people noise whatsoever. And very conducive for a stream of thought. And much amusement have I been finding in humanity lately. Oh dear. Especially the manufactured discontent that the normie quote-unquote elites are manufacturing for people, for, said normies. And I'm finding amusement in the fact that thankfully I'm not one, and I possess the detachment enough for me to look from a bird's eye perspective, shall we say. And more and more I'm noticing it really is appearing to me that the normies are becoming a totally separate species almost, and just observing their antics I'm finding quite amusing, I have to say. And if you haven't realized by now, the mainstream media is a propaganda machine, a vehicle of changing your reality, your inner reality, your thoughts, your feelings, your perspective, your opinions, for the purpose of manipulation to what they want. Namely, a mindless automaton normie who does what they're told, wears a mask in public and doesn't question anything. I couldn't think of a more brain dead way to exist, to be honest. And the thought arises more and more that there is a need to further conduct one's own inner work, shadow work. Going through a few good old-fashioned dark nights of the soul. Nothing clears out the skeletons from one's inner closet better than that, I have to say. And if you find yourself in the unenviable position of experiencing depression occasionally, you know what? Accept it and embrace it. Please don't fall for the new agey, love and light, everything has to be wonderful, the kind of namaste people. No. Life doesn't work that way. Reality doesn't work that way. You're surrounded by brutally stupid normies who will snitch on you at the drop of a coin. And becoming, in many ways, invisible is a good thing, I find. Although scaring the crap out of little Asian women on the bus is quite amusing also. Especially Filipino women for some reason. Fuck knows why. I was just on the bus the other day, listening to my music, lost in my music as I do, minding my own business, and along comes one of them and sits down a couple of seats ahead, and suddenly she just turns around and looks at me fearfully. I spoke to her in my language, and she sort of looked at me even more puzzled. I said, "Hey, you think you people are the only non-English speaking people in this country?" Amusing, very amusing, and especially people, when you conduct your own everyday business, you'll find people kind of look at you different, as if they're picking up the fact that you're on a different trajectory than they are, and that's a good barometer of your own progress, actually, and also online. Because once you disconnect more and more from any and all drama, especially people who you sort of have a high regard for, they sort of backpedal and make friends with people whom they and those around them for so long loathed and spent so much negative energy projecting against, and suddenly everything's all fine and they're all lovey-dovey and friends now. And meanwhile, there are some people who think, remember what they did way back here? Yes, we're living in a world of dystopian flip-floppers. Well, I saw a quote or a meme somewhere. I don't know who the source is or where it's from. I think it was actually a meme. I might have posted it on one of the Discord servers I was on. Of course, it received no response whatsoever. It really does, especially if you don't consistently follow the mindless, quote unquote MGTOW narrative. It's part of a greater perspective. People, don't get bogged down in small portions of greater perspectives. This is why many of these same tired old live streams only get 9, 10, 11 viewers, even though they've got more than 1,000 subscribers. Because it's the tired old fucking shit, and you're not really going anywhere, you're not learning anything, you're not progressing anywhere, you're just staying in that little MGTOW pocket and not going anywhere or doing anything. That is called living death, right? Oh, he's not really engaging in MGTOW anymore because he's simping after a female. Perhaps some of us actually realized that it was a stepping stone and part of a broader perspective, and have moved way beyond what we used to be when we were there. Growth. You might want to try it sometime. But yeah, we are living in a world of flip-floppers online. People have very selective memories, and it necessitates of those of us to follow a simple thing of if a person shows you disrespect, if you have anything to do with people once and they show any level of disrespect or flip-flopping, and they engage in drama perhaps that you've left long ago, I find the most effective thing is silence and distance. Don't engage, don't talk crap on videos or live streams or anything like that. Just go your way and engage in silence. That's basically it. And yes, I did find it. It is from a meme, from one of the heathen pages, of course. I reward loyalty with loyalty and disloyalty with distance, and that's basically the guiding principle for your online adventures. Because there is no respect, self-respect or otherwise, or honour these days. I mean, fuck, people barely know what honour is anymore. So, what do? We disconnect, and we go along our own lone wolf merry way. And you'll find that people who sort of, claim they loved you and like you and all the rest of it, they very rarely speak to you now. Because you're no longer the drama slave that they still are. and that's fine. You wish them well, and as Rush would say, you wish them well and you move along. But it's not about them. It's about you and your growth and being better than you were yesterday, and working on yourself, on being the best version of yourself, and learning from what you were yesterday, not disparaging your past self in any way. You did the best you could with what you knew at the time. Be patient with yourself during your journey of growth, because things are going to get interesting, and you're going to be places within yourself that you never thought possible, and that's part of the journey. That's growth. If you do still hold the exact same opinions and attitudes and thoughts that you did 3 or 4 years ago, there's a wee bit of a problem. Especially when you engage in ideologies which may very well be a kind of subtle online psyop, actually. Come to think of it. But in this dystopian nightmare we're living in, freely engage in sarcasm. Most people don't understand it, especially you Americans. Dear oh dear. I was on a certain I suppose I should name drop it, shouldn't I? Yeah, okay. Nerdrotic podcast group on Facebook. Someone posted a picture of a comic character, Black Adam. He happened to be The Rock, who is, an Islander. And someone made a comment about, this whole black thing. And me being me, use sarcasm. Of course, Americans don't understand sarcasm. Because one of you responded as I would expect you to respond, which I found even more hilarious. And he happened to be black, which is fucking hilarious in itself. And you notice one thing though before I go on. Everyone else over there are called Americans, but you specifically separate that group of people and call them African Americans. Have you ever thought why? Aren't you supposed to be all Americans now? I find that double standard of you people quite amusing, actually. Aren't you all supposed to be Americans? Being treated in a special way due to one's skin colour. Let me, teacher. That's called racism. Treating someone differently based on the colour of their skin. That is racism. Oh dear. Not reverse racism, racism. And of course, this sort of clueless and gobshite, I did block, I had to block him. And then I put something underneath like, so it is true, you Americans really don't know sarcasm. And because his response was, dude, his character name is, Black Adam, and then the little, what he thought was an amusing little meme underneath saying, Google it. Thinking, oh dear, you can't Google sarcasm. You either have it, you understand it, or you don't, or you're the subject of it. Okay? And it is my pleasure to amuse myself at your expense. Especially all you gobshot that I was once connected to online. And meanwhile, in the above-mentioned servers, I don't know why I engage at all these days. I really don't. They talk about just infantile shit. So, again, one reaches a point where one asks, so why the fuck do I even bother at all? Well, because there are a very small handful of people who are worth your time, whom you actually do engage with online, and they actually do give a fuck about how you're going. That's why. And of course, finding amusement in channels like Mr. Opaque Lens, Niall Murphy, Thomas Sheridan, especially when he goes on an anti folk music rant. Absolutely fucking hilarious. So don't take everything so damn seriously. Find amusement in it. Find amusement in yourself. And enjoy your journey of growth. And don't be afraid to face your shadow self. It's actually quite important. And when you fully embrace it and love it, is when you find true freedom and true wisdom and knowledge. Just something a little deeper there to leave you on. Continue engaging in amusement and laughter and sarcasm, because this dystopian darkness we're all living in can't handle it. That's true revolution right there. Revolution of the mind. One person at a time. The lone wolf, amusingly and sarcastically on guitar, out.